Hello everyone, I'm Angel Vinita of 2nd ECE of roll number 19 VQ 1A0493. Now I'm about to give a seminar on digital circuits and logic design subject on logic gates. Logic gates. Here if you want to allow or deny any digital circuit design, logic gates are used. Here if you use any certain specific logic design, it has some input excitations. Now in a logic gate we have input and the output. The input is known as the excitations and the output is known as the response. Here logic gates are of three types. First one is basic types. In basic types there are three subtypes. One is AND, OR and NOT. AND. In AND this is the logic gate design of the AND. Here we have two outputs A and B. Two inputs A and B, and the output we get is Y. Here, and output we get is Y. This is the truth table of the AND gate. A and B are known as the inputs and Y is the output of A and B. Here if both the inputs are 0, we get the output 0. If one input is 0 and the other input is 1, we get the output as 0. If one input is 1 and the other input is 0, we get the input as 0. If both the inputs are same, we get 0. It is nothing but A into B. That means input 1 into input B, we get the output in AND gate. Now coming to OR gate. This is the logic gate design of the OR gate. And here is the truth table of the OR gate. Here in the truth table of the OR gate, if both the inputs are same, the output is also same. If one of the input is 0 and the other one of the input is 1, then the input is 1. Here it is also same. 1 and 0 becomes 1. 1 and 1 becomes 1. It is nothing but the A plus B. It is input 1 plus input 2 gives the output. And coming to NOT gate. It is the logic design circuit of the NOT gate. And here it is the A complement. It means one input complement gives the output. Nothing but 0 0 gives 1 and 0 1 gives 1. 1 0 gives 0 and 1 1 gives 0. Here we have to notice one point. Any logic gate can have n number of inputs but only single output. Except NOT gate. NOT gate must have only one output, one input and one output. Remaining all can have n number of inputs but one and only output. Now coming to universal type of gates. The first type in the universal type of the gate is NAND. NAND is nothing but NOT AND. It means NOT plus AND. So here it is the logic design circuit of the NAND gate. And coming to the truth table of the NAND gate, here we can see 0 input, A and B are input and Y is the output. 0 are the inputs and 1 is the output. Because it is the complement of A into B. It means if we multiply these inputs, then the output complement is the output. It means 0 into 0 equal to 0. But here is the complement. So we have to take the output as the 1. Here like the same. 0 into 1 equal to 1. Because 0 into 1 equal to 0. But we have to take the complement of the product. So we have taken 1. And 1 into 0 equal to 0. But we have taken 1. 1 into 1 equal to 1. But 1 complement is 0. So we have taken 1 complement. Coming to NOR gate. NOR gate is nothing but NOT plus OR. Here it can have two outputs and one input. Two inputs and one output. Coming to the truth table of the NOR gate, it's nothing but A plus B complement. Here 0 plus 0 equal to 0. But 0's complement is 1. So we have taken 1. And 0 plus 1 equal to 1. But 1 complement is 0. So we have taken 0. 1 plus 0 equal to 1. But 1 complement is 0. We have taken 0. 1 plus 1 equal to 1. But 1 complement is 0. So we have taken 1. Now coming to the third type of the logic gates, that are other gates. They are XOR and XNOR. XOR. This is the logic gate design of the XOR. It has two inputs and one output. Coming to the truth table of the XOR. Here it's nothing but A into B complement plus A complement B. Here coming to the truth table, A into B complement. It means 0 into 1. 0 into 1 equal to 0. So we have taken output as it. Now 0 into 1 equal to 1. 1 0 1 1 1 0. Now coming to x naught. X naught is nothing but complement of the XOR, not x naught. X naught is nothing but not XOR. Here is the logic design circuit of the x naught. Here is the truth table of the x naught. Here truth table is a complement b complement plus a into b. 0 into 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1. Now I am going to discuss a seminar in Python about the topic data structures in Python. We have the data structures in Python. They are built-in data structures. The built-in data structures are 4. They are list, dictionary, sets and tuple. Now we'll discuss about the list. List is nothing but suppose we take nums is equals to list of an array of some numbers, that is 12, 13, 14, 19, 23. These are not in sorted order. Now by entering it in the Python shell, and if we enter nums, then it will print all these values as 12, 13, 19, 14 and 23. They are not in the sorted order. They will not be in the sorted order. And by using the index also we can find the integer in the list. Suppose the index values are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now num 2. If we enter it, it will give the output following as num 2. It means the value in the index 2. It is 14. It gives us the output as 14. And by using the negative index values also we can find the values in the list. That is negative values like this: -5, -4, -3, -2, -1. These are the negative indexes. Now we can find the integer by using negative indexes. That means num -1. It gives the output as 23. It means 23 is it is in the -1 index. So it gives us the output as 23. Now we can do this with using the strings also. Now suppose strings d equal to some strings Angel, Ronnie and John. These are the strings I have taken. Now here if we enter this in the Python shell, enter d, it gives the output as Angel, Ronnie and John. And here also we can find it using the index method. Here its index is 0, Angel index is 0 and 1, 2. Now d of 1, it gives the output Ronnie. Because in the index 1, the string present here is Ronnie. So it gives us the output Ronnie. Sets in data structure. Sets. Suppose S is equals to 193, 41 and 27. And if we enter S, it will give all these following values. In sets, indexing is not possible and set will not have indexing form. And suppose if we shall try, suppose if we enter S of 2, it will give error because in sets indexing is not possible. And suppose this is S1, we think it is S1, and S2 is equals to 2, 4, 98, 37, and this is S1 and this is S2, and we can perform different functions such as intersection, union, subtraction in sets. Suppose for example S1 intersection S2. S1 intersection S2, this is 98. S1 intersection S2 means the common values in the S1 and S2 set. Here the common value is 98. So it will print 98. And S1 union S2, then it means all the values in both the sets. It prints 198, 41, 27 to 37 and 4, because we'll write 98 only once because it's common. We should write a common value only once. Now coming to tuple. Tuple data structure. Tuple data structure is nothing but same as the list. But in list we'll change. We can change the values in it if we want. But in tuple we couldn't change it because it is restricted. It is immutable. In tuple, when we use the tuple is if we had any list, then if we want to change, we could not change. Then we use the tuple. In tuple we could not change the values, so the iteration will be faster than in the list. Coming to tuple, example, suppose tup is equals to list 1, 9 and 23. Here same as the list, if we enter tup, it will print all these 193, 1923, and by using indexes also we can do 0, 1, 2, and if we enter tup 0, it will print 1 value because in index 0 the value present is 1. Here is dictionary data type. In dictionary data type we can assign key to some string. We assign a string to key. Here data equal to key 1 to string Angel, and second string John, and fourth string Ronnie. Here here we can use the key value to find what the string assigned in that key. So here data 4. It means in a key 4 the string is Ronnie, so it will print Ronnie. And here data 3, because we didn't assign it, we didn't take any key 3 and we didn't assign any string to it, so it will give as error. And now data dot get 1. Here we can use get. Here data dot get 1 means it will get the string in the key 1, so it will give us Angel. So this is the dictionary data type. It means nothing but in dictionary data type we'll assign strings to the keys, and we'll get that we'll get that strings using keys. Now I'm going to give a seminar on electronic devices and circuits subject on the topic intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors, which are also known as pure semiconductors. Here the energy band gap is 1 electron volts. It means to move the electron from the valency band to the conduction band, we need the thermal energy of 1 electron volt. Here if you observe, the Fermi energy level lies in the center of the forbidden energy gap. It means Fermi energy level is equals to EV plus EC by 2. EV represents the maximum energy level of the valency band and EC represents the maximum energy level of the conduction band. And here at 0 Kelvin and at low temperature, the valency band electrons does not have the sufficient energy, and they do not move from the valency band to the conduction band, and they act as the insulators. And after gaining the sufficient amount of energy, they move from the valency band to the conduction band. And at room temperature, the conduction band has sufficient electrons which are able to produce some current at room temperature. And here in intrinsic semiconductors, the electron concentration is equal to the hole concentration, which is equal to the intrinsic concentration, that is N equal to P equal to Ni. N represents the electron concentration and P represents the hole concentration, and Ni represents the intrinsic concentration. And coming to the extrinsic semiconductors. Extrinsic semiconductors, which are also known as the impure semiconductors. It means here we do the process of doping. Doping is nothing but adding some certain amount of impurities to the conductor to improve its conductivity. Here by adding 10 power minus 8 atoms, pure atoms of one impurity to p type germanium, then the conductivity increases by 10 times. By adding 10 power minus 8 pure atoms of one impurity to p-type germanium, the conductivity increases by 50 times, and we can add two type of impurities which are known as n-type impurities. It is pentavalent, and p-type which is trivalent impurity. Coming to the n-type impurity, n-type semiconductors. N-type semiconductors are formed by adding the pentavalent impurities, that is the outermost shell having 5 electrons. To remove these electrons from the to remove this extra electron from the influence of the nucleus, for silicon we need 0.05 electron volts to remove, and for germanium we need 0.01 electron volts. And coming to the n-type semiconductors, it has high electron density when compared to the p-type, and it is also known, and the n-type semiconductor are also known as donor atoms, because they are always ready to donate their extra electron for conductivity. And coming to the p-type semiconductors, in p-type semiconductors we add trivalent impurity. We add trivalent impurities. It means gallium to the silicon. Then we will get the p-type semiconductors. And for p-type semiconductors, p-type and n-type semiconductors are electrically neutral.